Hi, and welcome to this video about Chesterfield's Hornsbridge Roundabout. Chances are if you found this video, you probably live in Chesterfield or visiting Chesterfield. Otherwise, I'm not sure why you're looking at this video. Thanks anyway though. But today we're going to be looking at this video and we're going to look at how to use the Hornsbridge Roundabout correctly. For some reason, a lot of people do get this roundabout wrong. To me, it's one of the simplest roundabouts to use. Everything is signed, it's marked out correctly, and when they installed the traffic light system 8, 9, 10 years ago, made it even easier still. So yeah, let's dive right into this. So first of all, let's get rid of this and just sketch it all up, make it a little bit easier. So let's add some tarmac, let's add a little bit of structure to it and some road markings. Let's add some destination signs so we know what each thing is, and we'll get rid of this bridge just to make it a touch easier. So yeah, we've got the A617 South, which is the Hasland Bypass, or leads to the M1. We've got the A61 South, also known as Derby Road. You've got a little exit for B&Q, you've got Toys R Us, the fire station down there. And then you've got the A617 North and A619. The A619 is a little road, the A617 is the main road that goes past the retail park. That's labelled as town centre because that's generally where you'd go. And then you've got the A61 North, which goes towards Tesco. Obviously it leads towards Sheffield and whatnot as well. So first of all, we'll take a look at what I believe is probably the most common mistake. I use the roundabout mainly from the Hasland Bypass, and I see a lot of people using the right hand lane here and using it to go straight up into the town centre. I'm not sure why, and this video will show why that's wrong, but yeah, you shouldn't be doing that. Considering the middle lane from Hasland Bypass goes towards Tesco, how on earth people think the right hand lane goes into town centre, which means cutting somebody up from the middle, is beyond me. But you can guarantee nearly every other trip that I do across the roundabout, someone will do that. If not, it's another mistake that will be made elsewhere. But there is always an incident where something's happening basically. So yeah, we'll take a quick look, see how to use this properly. There's a few ways I could explain how to do this. If we zoom in, you can see every road has the markings, the roundabout has the markings, so no matter where you come from on here, you should be able to get to where you need to go using the correct lanes on the roundabout, and you can guarantee you'll end up stopping at a red light or something. But yeah, we'll show you how to correctly use these. So from Hasland Bypass, you've got the left lane is for the A61 South and A619. So basically the left lane goes down here to Derby Road, or you can use it to go into B&Q, or of course you can go up into town centre, obviously getting off in the left hand lane up into town centre. The middle lane is for the A619 and towards Tesco Bypass. So yeah, to use that one, of course you go from the middle lane onto the middle lane of the roundabout, follow it round and get off in the right hand side for town centre. Continue around and get on the left hand side if you're going down towards Tesco. And then the right hand lane, of course, it goes towards Tesco, Sheffield down there. Or of course you can, if you, for whatever reason, you need to go back towards the motorway, maybe you've just come from Hasland and you're firing down towards the motorway, I'm not sure. You can flick off and or start over again, obviously, into any of these three lanes. But yeah, so that's how you use it from Hasland. So if we wipe the slate clean and go to Derby Road from Claycross, anywhere around there, or you've come from Hasland down Stilford Lane, it doesn't matter where, but yeah, you've come from Derby Road. We'll have a look here then. So Derby Road, you've got your three lanes. You've got one labelled as A619. This is also going to B&Q as the arrows on the road and the signs show. So lane goes left into B&Q or town centre, getting off in the left. The middle lane is marked with just a straight on arrow, which technically I suppose is right. There is two straight ons, technically speaking, and it is labelled as well as A619 and A61. Obviously it doesn't say north, but you're already on the A61 for south, so yes, you're heading north anyway. So if you're in the middle lane, then you should go into town centre, getting off in the right hand lane, or scoot round and go down Tesco Bypass in the left hand lane. Straightforward, much like, and you can see once you get onto the roundabout where the green arrow is, that's exactly where it is from Hasland Bypass. So yeah, once you're on the roundabout, it's fairly straightforward. And then if you're on the right hand lane, this lane is to go down towards Tesco Bypass in the right hand lane, or to get off and head towards Hasland, the M1, go down Hasland Bypass down the 617. And that looks like this. And of course, if you want to do traffic build up, I'd be inclined to move over into the middle if you know you're going away down the bypass. Obviously, if you're coming off in Hasland, you want to stay left so you can come straight off of the slip road. But that's further down, we can't see it on this screen. And obviously, if you did, for whatever reason, you wanted to make a full lap round the roundabout and go back into McDonald's, the retail part there, obviously you just scoot into one of these lanes. There should be no other traffic around you by this point. So now let's just say you've been to B&Q, you've done your shopping, or you've been to Toys R Us, or you've been to Toys R Us with your kids. How do we leave Toys R Us? Well, let's have a quick look at that one. So this one is A619 and A61 North. You've got the middle lane, which says A61 North and A617, and the right hand lane, which just says A61. So basically this is saying left lane goes into town centre or down Tesco Bypass, middle lane Tesco Bypass or towards the motorway Hasland, and the right hand lane just for Derby Road. So we'll take a quick look and see how that works. So yeah, as I say, if you're in the left hand lane, it goes left into town centre. For me, I'd scoot over to the right if you wanted to as well, depending where you was going at the next roundabout. Those who know Chesterfield know there's a roundabout up there. So yeah, that lane is the only lane to go towards town centre. That lane also goes down towards Tesco Bypass, which again means the middle lane can't go towards town centre, otherwise it could cause an accident. The middle lane is also for Tesco Bypass, getting off in the right hand side, and it's also to go down the Hasland Bypass towards the M1. I believe the correct way should be to use the middle lane again, but there's nothing stopping you getting into the left hand lane, particularly if you're coming straight off into Hasland itself. I'd also question, can you use, because you are in the middle lane, can you also go down Derby Road? I'd question that. I'm not saying that's right, the road markings doesn't suggest you can do that, but the roundabout itself, if you came from town centre or anywhere else, you could use the middle lane here on the roundabout to go down Derby Road, but we'll go with the signs. And then if you're in the right hand lane, that is, according to that, just for Derby Road, and because of how that lane works, you would end up in the right hand side of Derby Road. I'd be wary of anyone who's been in the middle lane that they might be on the outside of you. That's why I've drawn it, just to go down there. And of course you can scoot all the way back round into any of them lanes. So we're getting towards the end now. So you've just been into Chesterfield itself and you're coming back out, maybe you're going back down the motorway towards Clay Cross or up towards Sheffield. We'll just have a quick look how we do that. So first of all, again, let's just have a quick look at the signs. The signs show the left-hand lane is going down towards Tesco Bypass on the A61 or the A617 towards Hasland. The middle lane shows A617 only, which is also Hasland M1. And the right-hand lane shows Derby Road, so A61 South. And obviously you can go around into B&Q. I'll have a quick look how we use it from Chesterfield. Yeah, as I said, the left-hand lane, you literally just come off left into the left lane of Tesco Bypass. Again, the argument, could you go into the right-hand lane of that? You shouldn't really need to, but yeah, you could. It also goes straight on into Hasland's on the left-hand side. The middle lane is also for going straight on. That goes into Hasland Bypass on the right-hand side, so ideally if you're going towards Tib Shelf or right to the end of the M1. As if you need to get off in Hasland, really you need that red line there, so you need to be in the left-hand lane. And then the right-hand lane is for skirting all the way around down Derby Road and get off in either of the lanes on Derby Road as shown, or if you're going into B&Q, get off here. And then of course you can skirt into the other two lanes if you need to go back into town centre, as with any roundabout. And finally, we're going to take a look as though you've just come from the A61, so you've just come from Sheffield or you've come from Tesco. From that direction again, if you know Chesterfield, you know where you are and you know where you're heading. On approach, the left-hand lane shows that it goes just down Hasland Bypass only, which is the A617. The middle lane also goes down the A617 and down the A61. The right-hand lane is for the A61 and to go around up back into town centre on the A619. And of course for B&Q as well. So once again, for the last time, we'll go in and we'll take a quick look. So yeah, if you're in the left-hand lane, the left lane literally only goes down Hasland Bypass, and if you're going off at the first slip road, then that's the lane you need. Middle lane also goes down Hasland Bypass, and obviously if you're going further down towards Tib Shelf or the very end, that's the lane you want, and it also goes down Derby Road, as you can see, off into the left-hand side. The right-hand lane also goes down Derby Road into the right hand side and of course in towards B&Q. And obviously the last exit is for town centre, so you'll be getting into the middle and right lane on the roundabout here, depending on where exactly you're going into town centre, and of course you can skirt all the way back round as well if you wish. So yeah, there we have it. That's how you use the Hornsbridge Roundabout. I'm not sure why so many people find it too difficult. If you like this video, then just give it a like, subscribe, comment below, and yeah, more importantly, share it with people. This might be a good video. If you're a driving instructor, just show your students this is how you use this roundabout. 'Cause some people do find roundabouts quite daunting. For me, I do think they're quite easy, especially if you know what you're doing. And I think a lot of the time, people are, I'm not sure, I think they just use the roundabout how it used to be, but it changed. When they put the traffic lights in, they did change the lanes ever so slightly. And people have still yet to adapt 8, 9, 10 years later. If you're a visitor from out of town, I hear that as an excuse a lot for people getting the roundabout wrong. To me, that's not really an excuse either. If you're a visitor and you don't know the area, just read the signs, take your time. It's as simple as that, and just make sure you indicate at least. Don't just cut somebody up. If you get pipped, you're going to get pipped. Just make sure you don't cut somebody up, or just come off at, if you're in the wrong lane, just come off that exit and just spin round and start again. If you are from town, to me, there's no reason why you should be getting it wrong. You should know the roundabouts, you know where you're going, you should know which lane you need. Obviously, rules are slightly different for lorries and buses due to the steering angles or whatnot. I'm not going to get into that, I don't know fully, but as far as I'm aware, it is slightly different for lorries. But yeah, for Joe Bloggs who's watching this, you will be driving. This is basically how you should be using the roundabout correctly, and you shouldn't really have any issues then. As I said, the main one I see is from Hasland and people using that right-hand lane going into town centre. The only other thing I would say as well is people who come from Hasland itself, they try and get right over to the right-hand lane to go down Tesco Bypass. Just move to the middle lane. You've only got a couple hundred yards to try and get into that right-hand lane. I see people struggle. Just use the middle lane. As you can see, the middle lane does take you back down to Tesco Bypass. There's no reason to try and get 3 lanes over. So yeah, as I say, if you do like this, give it a like, and I will be making some more roundabout videos for Chesterfield. So yeah, thanks for watching. Bye bye.